Hello, Frozies! McFrozen Nuggets here, coming to you with another video, and today, this is a big one. This is basically a first for my channel, both my original one and my new 2.0 one. This is basically my very first review of an actual sort of prop replica of, well, something from a movie. This one being, and this is also another first, this is also my very first Ghostbusters review on my channel, because this is the Ghostbusters Afterlife Plasma Series Spengler's Neutrona wand. Yes, this is also my very first review from Ghostbusters Afterlife. Now this obviously came out a year ago, actually last fall, but it was only just recently that I finally decided to pull the trigger and get my hands on it. And man, was it well worth it. Obviously, I'm starting off with the box first because of how special this is, and because of how accurate this is. Now, first off, it obviously comes with this right here. Kind of looking like the actual outfit that they wear in the movies. Got sort of a simple graphic of the Neutrona wand on the top, and then on the back it shows all the different features: extend stream, 4 modes, adjust intensity, authentic sounds, LEDs, motor vibration. And this can actually be taken right off because the way this looks, it is meant to look like the actual crate that is apparently going to be seen in the upcoming movie, which, as of recording this, only a month away, but as... sorry. But as I actually post this, it'll already be out in theaters. But again, as I'm recording this, it is October 26th. And we're basically less than a month away. But if you're watching this in the future, then that doesn't really matter. But anyway, this is the actual box. The way this looks is, again, meant to look like how it apparently looks in the movie. It says Neutrona wand up there. Got the caution tape right up there. Ghostbusters logo right there. There's another one right there. Here's the back. Another one there. And there. In the bottom, more of that caution tape and whatnot. Obviously, this doesn't actually open like a box, like the actual box in the movie. But it does open inside. Well, obviously it's empty, but this is where you would get the actual Neutrona wand out. I'll actually link to the reviews of this from both Jason from Ghostbusters News, as well as Paul, aka Optibonomus, because their reviews are absolutely spot on with this thing. And it's just crazy to think that this is gonna be an absolutely amazing movie, and respect the original 2 films. Like, crazy times, man. Crazy times. But anyway, now, let's get that Neutrona wand out here. And here is Dr. Egon Spengler's Neutrona wand. It's just insane having this in my collection, because, again, this is my first piece of merchandise for Ghostbusters, and especially for Ghostbusters Afterlife. Obviously, as we've known since February 2014, Harold Ramis unfortunately passed away. And Sony's kind of knee-jerk reaction was a 2016 reboot, which failed epically. And now they're going back to the roots of Ghostbusters and, like, you know what? Let's actually do an actual passing of the torch and bring Ghostbusters to the next generation. So obviously that's where this is kind of coming from. And from what we see in the trailer so far, it seems like they're actually going to have the actual spirit of Egon communicate with his descendants, being Callie, Carrie Coon's character, as well as his grandkids, Phoebe and Trevor, respectively, Captain Marvel's very own Mechanic Grace, and Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things. Like an actual spirit, like similar to that of Ghost Adventures, when we actually get like actual signs of spiritual activity. I'm just at a loss for words of how amazing this is and how excited I am for this movie. But yeah, so far, this has only been released last year. I ordered it from Big Bad Toy Store fairly recently. It retails for $99.99, which is actually cheaper than the original Neutrona one sold by Mattel through MattyCollector.com, which was $129.99. Now granted, that was more of an exclusive sort of thing, whereas this is more of a mass release product. But still, you just can't beat this because of how amazing it looks. Obviously, first of all, it comes with a stand, which I'll move this. And it's actually pretty nice. It has the Ghostbusters symbol right there. Got these pieces here that can actually be taken apart and whatnot. It's mainly just to prop it up and get it to stand. Now, it's kind of flimsy, but it at least does what it has to do, which is hold it up. And it takes 3 AA batteries. You basically take this end cap and just bump the phone. And this is where they go in. But it actually has another option because, again, this is the regular end cap. It also comes with this one where you can actually attach it to a proton pack right here. Now, personally, I actually kind of prefer this because, obviously, this is the regular one, but I just kind of prefer this one because it looks a little bit more accurate to how it would look in how it looks in the movies. And apparently, Hasbro is actually teasing a proton pack, or has officially revealed it, because, again, at the time of recording this, it's October 26th, and said that they're going to be officially revealing it tomorrow, which would be October 27th. But again, if you're watching this in the future, then you already have seen it. But yeah, this is actually pretty heavy. This is actually really heavy. Because they actually use quite a bit of metal in this thing. Like, this piece is metal, the dial here. This piece right here, the top of the clipper valve right here. Switches are actually metal. These pieces right here, those are metal. This is like an actual tube. Same with this. And of course, actual screws right here. And then underneath, there's an S-hook and the V-clip. Now, from what I've heard, the V-clip obviously is meant to attach to the proton pack. But apparently, the S-hook was added so it would actually align properly on the proton pack instead of just being sort of slanted and make it harder to remove. Actually, I'll move this up a little bit. Apparently, the S-hook was meant to sort of have it be completely straight, so it would be easier to remove. Instead of just simply having to try to yank it out and possibly risk damaging it. Oh, and this switch right here is also metal. Just absolutely amazing, amazing details. Actually, move this back a little bit further. Excuse me for the clumsiness of this review, because I'm not too used to reviewing huge prop replicas like this. I mainly review like, well, action figures like the Marvel Legends and Cars diecast, and also a little bit Lego Star Wars. So yeah, this can be kind of a learning experience for everyone here, including myself. Now, there's this piece right here, which is apparently meant to be tape. It actually has a really nice feel to it, as it's kind of like a rubbery sort of plastic right here. And unfortunately, there's no actual grip underneath, it just looks like it. This is where the speaker is. And also, too, Hasbro went to the set of Ghostbusters Afterlife and took actual 3D scans of this to make it as accurate and authentic as possible. Like, right here, you can actually see what appears to be rust bubbling up from underneath the paint because it's meant to look like it's 30 years old after the events of Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and presumably Ghostbusters the video game. And I'll actually kind of get into that a little bit later on. Got this piece right here, which, again, it's hard plastic, but it actually looks like a really big piece of wood. And there's this orange head right here, which is an actual button. And there's also an actual wire here, which I'm not sure what that's supposed to be for, but obviously, if you've seen the movie, you'll probably have known that. And Hasbro even took extra steps to actually recreate the startup sequence for this, where you actually have to switch either of these two up. This turns on. This is for the intensity beam, and really quick, I'll actually kind of... Whenever you turn it, you can actually hear... You can actually hear the vibration as it goes along with it. And I'm sorry if this looks super bright, it's just... My phone's not exactly the best with lighting and whatnot. If you've seen some of my Blade Builders reviews, you'll understand why. And then you actually flip this switch on. You can actually hear the humming and whatnot. And it's another light that turns on here. And then right here. And it's kind of hard to tell on camera, but this actually kind of a muted light. Or, this originally was super bright, but it's a lot more muted down, again, to show the age of it. And I mentioned the intensity beam. Listen, as you turn it down, you can actually hear the vibration, and the sounds get louder. And obviously, this is where you actually would shoot it out. You would actually sort of shoot the proton stream. And actually, I'll turn this off really quick. Because they even recreate how you actually extend the barrel. Because it actually is meant to sort of just pop out and then be manually pushed back in. Like, I'll push this right here. And it even has a little sound effect for when you push it out, or spring it out and push it back in. Which is like how it was on the actual prop. As you can see right there. And right there, you can see that lighting up orange, which is meant to represent the actual proton stream, which, right here, and I bet some of you are wondering, what's that little button? You mentioned it earlier. Well, I'm glad you probably asked, because right here, you push it, and now you can hear like some churning, which is actually meant to be for the slime blower. Meaning that they actually put in actual features from the 2009 Ghostbusters the video game. Like right here. Right there. That looks awesome. And actually, I think this is just me personally, but I feel like the slime blower would be perfect for like pranking someone for Nickelodeon. Because I mean, think about it. What's the main thing that Nickelodeon uses? The slime. And what's one of the features of this Neutrona one? The slime blower. And that's one of Nickelodeon's big things. So it makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, And by the way, I'm not sure if this is on mine, just on mine exactly, but whenever I kind of turn it up to like level 2 here, it just that. Like, I don't know. And it only does it when I can have this all the way on. Like, I don't know. Just keep it like that for now. And then, man, I keep hitting the camera, man. You push this again, and you hear some ice crackling. Because this is the stasis stream. How cool is that? Now, this just coming from me, but I'll actually grab it really quick. The blue lights from the stasis stream, they kind of remind me of this. Again, my camera's not the best with lighting, but yeah, this is what it kind of reminds me of. The Disney Store exclusive Anakin Skywalker lightsaber, which hopefully I'll review soon enough. But consider that just a little sneak peek. And there's one more upgrade from the video game that you can actually switch to. And you can hear like some high-pitched humming. Because this is the Meson Collider. Meson, whichever you want to refer to it as. And you can't really see it too well, but that is super freaking clean. And then you push it again, go back to the classic Proton stream. And there's actually one other thing from the video game that they actually put in here. If you actually hold this down for about 14 seconds, I actually counted it exactly, it will actually overheat just like in the video game. Like, I'll show you. Just count for 14 seconds. And then it turns off. And then you have to cycle through all of this again. But yeah, that is actually something really, really cool. I've actually been watching the 2009 video game walkthrough, or rather the remastered walkthrough. And I've actually been playing along with this just simply because of the fact that this has features from that game. I don't know why I just said that, but it's me. I'm just a huge fan. Now I know what you probably want to see. You want to see this in the dark. So let me just turn off the lights for a sec, and we'll take a look at how this thing looks in the dark. Okay, so now we're actually in the dark. I'm not sure if you can see me. Well, I don't think you can see me on the camera, but you're gonna see me soon enough, because okay, now I think you can actually see me. Turn this on. And first off, the Proton stream. Oh. So cool. Here's the slime blower. Sliming you guys! I'm sliming you! Just like on Nickelodeon. Stasis stream. Yeah, this is what I was kind of referring to. Look how bright that is compared to, like, this compared to this. Very similar, doesn't it? And then, finally, the Meson Collider. How cool does that look? And just let you know, on all 4 of those other settings, they will also overheat just like the classic proton stream. Like, I'll just use the slime blower for example. And by the way, it doesn't matter what intensity you have it on, they will all overheat at the same time, being about 14 seconds. And obviously, since it's only a few days before Halloween as I'm recording this, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. So if anyone wants to come and try and scare me, you better watch out. So yeah, that is it for my review on the Ghostbusters Afterlife Plasma Series, Egon Spengler's Neutrona one, and I absolutely highly recommend that you pick this up. I don't think I need to say this. 10 out of 10! So far, this is the only prop replica we've actually gotten so far from Ghostbusters Afterlife, but basically, there's gonna be more. There's gonna be more coming soon enough. Oh yeah, if you leave this sitting for a little while, it actually powers down by itself to conserve battery power. Whew! This was an absolutely amazing review for me of film. I mean, obviously, I never grew up with Ghostbusters. I should actually preface that. I never had a childhood with Ghostbusters. I was mainly rooted in Star Wars, Toy Story, classic Disney, and a little bit of Spider-Man. Notably the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. But ever since I first got into it in early 2018, after watching the Disney Channel original movie Girl vs. Monster, which, shout out to Olivia Holt, by the way, I noticed a lot of similarities between that and Ghostbusters. And then I was like, maybe I should actually watch Ghostbusters. And I'm glad I did, because I instantly fell in love with it. Because, especially considering the fact that there are quite a few actors in it that I actually recognize from other movies that I saw prior to Ghostbusters. One of the first ones being, and I didn't know at first, Annie Potts, Janine the Receptionist. She was also the voice of Bo Peep in Toy Story. Bill Murray, Dr. Peter Venkman, my absolute favorite. He was also the voice of Garfield in the 2004 and 2006 movies. Now, granted, he actually doesn't really like that he was the voice of Garfield now all these years later, but that's just the way I was introduced to him. Then Dan Aykroyd, who was apparently Yogi Bear in the 2011 movie. Then there was Rick Moranis, aka Louis Tully. He was also Wayne Szalinski in the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movies. And then finally, there was Ernie Hudson, who some of you might not know this, but he was actually Poseidon in the Poor Unfortunate Souls episode from Season 4 of Once Upon a Time. And again, I found out, I instantly recognized these actors when I first watched Ghostbusters, but I didn't know about where else they appeared prior to Ghostbusters. Oh, and Sigourney Weaver, can't forget her. Dana Barrett. She was apparently the Axiom computer voice in WALL-E, and she was also herself in Finding Dory. It was the Jewel of Morro Bay, California. I keep forgetting that. Don't be such a Dory. But anyway, definitely highly recommend you pick this up. Like I said earlier, links to Optibonymous and Ghostbusters News' reviews of this in the description below, along with all my social media links. Drop a like if you enjoyed this, and let me know if you've seen Ghostbusters Afterlife, and if you liked it, did you hate it? Like some of the NPCs do, saying that just simply because it undoes Ghostbusters 2016. Yeah, 2016 reboot. First thoughts I had of it was there's nothing new. Just like what George Lucas said about Star Wars The Force Awakens. Basically. It was just literally beat for beat the original. But that's a topic for another time. It's been regurgitated numerous times over the past 5 years about 2016's Ghostbusters, but just wanted to share my 2 cents on it really quick. And again, as usual, love how he froze these to death, and of course don't forget to keep it rigid.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass!